why would Bob, John, Karen, Mohammed chooses to have non-alcoholic drink over alcohol or over a super sugary mocktail, that's when we hit the jackpot.
I've got quite a few friends at the minute who've given up for I wouldn't say anyone's given up for good. No, like for periods of time, like, like a full year. I mean, a very good mate of mine, he did 12 months, which finished 7th or 8th of January. So we then went out to celebrate his year off the booze, and he managed to get himself, so obliterated during the kind of 24 hours that he'd gone out for, that he woke up the next day and thought, that is why I don't drink. And it's
exactly.
It's very easy to stay off it. But I guess everyone's got their own relationships with alcohol, haven't they? I mean, people who are quitting always say to me, "Oh, why don't you try quitting as well?" I said, "Well, for me, I don't need to quit because I don't have a problem with it anyway. I can take it or leave it." As I was saying to you before we started this, I only really drink good red wine. I've never touched beer in my life. I don't really have an interest in the spirits because I don't want to feel shit the next day, I kind of appreciate that the older I get, the more difficult it is to get up in the morning, that, even when I'm drinking the wine that I like, a couple of glasses, 3 glasses, I'm feeling groggy the next day, I'm feeling lethargic the next day. Now, if I decide that I don't mind that feeling because it's going to be a byproduct of drinking some great red, then that's one thing. But to drink a vodka Coke, for example, well, what's the point? I mean, you can't even taste the vodka in the Coke. I might as well just have the Coke on its own and not have it with it. So I find it very easy to take it or leave it. So I've got no interest in stopping because I don't want to put that, that kind of, whether it's a label or whether it's just makes it so formal and terminal at that point, then you almost feel pressure then, don't you? But I mean, I can go weeks or months if I want to without having a drink.
A lot of our consumers and a lot of our customers are moderators. There's so many different terms that the industry has now come up with to try and segregate and to put them in different kind of categories of what are the reasons the consumer's choosing not to consume alcohol. And when I first launched Drink Dry, we made one critical mistake in terms of our initial kind of market assessment. We segmented our consumers based on who they are, religion, ethnicity, age, gender, to try and understand how we market to them. Well, that completely didn't work for us. And until we did the exercise and then segmented our consumers based on their why would Bob, John, Karen, Mohammed chooses to have non-alcoholic drink over alcohol or over a super sugary mocktail, that's when we hit the jackpot, because we were able to speak to them in the language that they knew was aimed at them. So if you take, for example, we've got 5 different kind of very broad consumer segments that we, in our head, it's our Bible. This is who our consumers are. And of course, there's always cross between the segment groups, and there's always new ones that we're not too familiar. But the 5 ones that we normally work with are young parents, obvious one, for what reasons, pregnant ladies, our kind of, our gym goers, so people who are hugely into their physical exercise. It matters, the calorie intake matters to them, the way they look matters to them. These are the people that go to the gym and put their physical looks and well-being above all else, and this is where the non-alc drinks come in handy based on calorie per drink. We're probably about 1/5 in calories when it comes to alcohol versus non-alcohol. Then we have the consumer group, which are more wellness focused. So their kind of like motto is think globally, act locally. These are the people who do look at the back of the label, but not for the calories. They're looking for, are there any preservatives? Are there any E's in it? Is this product genuinely good for me? Is that something that is good for my body? And then you have people who we consider as our kind of business audience. So these are the people who are high achievers, people who, these are the people that everybody says they have more hours than anybody else in the day. This is how they have it, because they up at 5, they go to the gym. So that's a real cross-category consumer for us, cross-segment consumer for us. They go to the gym, they are really busy at work, they have big careers, they go out, they socialize. yet there is no room for alcohol because they simply cannot afford that lethargic feeling the next day because they have to be back on their top performance the next day. I think that would probably resonate with you. So this is where we put another kind of consumer segment in there. And whenever we're doing any activities or any activations or marketing, we always think of which consumer group are we speaking to here? The most obvious one, probably the sixth one in this region, would be people who don't drink for religious reasons. And with Ramadan fast approaching, it's something we did last year, but we did it very culturally sensitively. So instead of trying to say, hey, look, these are non-alc drinks and you need them during Ramadan, we didn't feel that was the right message. So instead, we looked at people's behaviors and patterns and traditions, how they observe Ramadan and what is part of their iftars, what is part of their Ramadan month of celebration. And we simply introduced our products where we saw it fit. So as you know, Vimto is a huge drink here during Ramadan. Whether we like it, whether we don't, whatever we perceive it to be, Vimto is a huge part of the hosting celebration of iftars. So we introduced really nice mocktails with our sparkling wines and Vimto. So it's halal drink, but it just elevates the experience rather than having Vimto and water. We introduced Martini Vimto Fizz, and it's just a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more celebratory, and gives it a nicer, sophisticated vibe. But the religious kind of segment, we've always treaded very lightly and really carefully because the last thing we want to do is offend people who don't want to do anything to do with alcohol.